local company is the most favorite business structures for Singapore business formations and suitable for foreign investors to set up in Singapore. The company needs a director, shareholder, company secretary as the basic structure. It's a separate legal entity from the business owner. The company can buy property in its own name. Since the company is the separate legal entity from the business owner, which will keep the shareholder out of the court of law. The company has a perpetual existence. It's not tied to any particular member or shareholder. The shareholders are not responsible for the loss or debt incurred by the company. Singapore allows 100% foreign ownership. Transfer of ownership is easy. You can audit assumptions if the criteria is met. No audit required. In general, to set up a local company has more credibility than a partnership in the eyes of investor, banks, financial institutions, supplier, and customer. The perceptions matter. When a local company goes to the market for securing loans for expansions would be easier as well. A Singapore local company is considered as a tax resident. You get access to all the tax benefits and incentive schemes for the local entity, which go along in reducing its operating costs and tax payable. Incorporations of a Singapore private limited company. The private limited company is governed by the Singapore Company Act and also complies with the Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, ACRA, and the Inland Revenue Authority of Singapore, IRAS. So first, the company needs to decide a company name which is required to be registered. We are able to search the proposed company name whether it's available or unavailable. The company name must be approved by ACRA before the Singapore company can be incorporated. The name will be rejected if it's identical to another existing name, is undesirable, names or trademarks which are similar to established names such as Coca-Cola and Google. Second, the company needs to decide who will be the shareholder. A minimum of at least one corporate or individual shareholder is required. A director and shareholder can be the same or different persons. 100% local or foreign shareholding is allowed. Third, the company needs to decide whether who will be appointed as a director. Singapore Private Limited Company must have at least one director who must be a resident in Singapore, which means that a Singapore citizen, a Singapore permanent resident, or the person who hold an employment pass with a residential address in Singapore. Understand that the foreign investor may not have a local director as according to the requirements from the local registrar. We, Korchina, is able to provide the local nominee director in order to fulfill the same requirements and further register the company in Singapore. The company must at least 18 years old, the director, and the director can also be the shareholder or vice versa. For your information, the following persons are disqualified to act as a company director. Undischarged bankrupt, unless they get a permission from the High Court of the official assignee. Persons who are under disqualification order made by the courts. Person convicted of specific offences. Fourth, the company needs to appoint a local company secretary. All Singapore company must appoint a competent company secretary. The company secretary must be a natural person who is a resident in Singapore. The company is required to appoint a company secretary within 6 months from the date of incorporation. As a company secretary, he or she will be sharing the legal responsibilities with the director for certain tasks as required by the Company Act. The company secretary is also need to ensure the compliance requirements as well to prepare of the necessary director resolutions and minutes. And fifth, the company need to appoint an auditor which can be exempted. All Singapore incorporated company must appoint an auditor within 3 months from the date of incorporations, unless the company is exempted from the audit requirement. As of 1st July 2015, Singapore Company Act introduced a new concept in relation to the audit exemptions as to allow the company to save some costs. Under the new regime, a company qualified as a small company and is exempted from audit if it met at least 2 of 3 of the following criteria: total revenue not more than Singapore dollar 10 million, total asset not more than Singapore dollar 10 million, or number of employee not more than 50. For a company which is part of a group, in another means that the company has a corporate shareholder, the company must qualify as a small company and entire group must be a small group. And 6, the company need to decide the payout capital. The minimum payout capital for registrations of a Singapore company is $1 or is equivalent in any currency. The payout share capital can be increased any time after incorporation of the company. Share in a private limited company can be transferred by way of filing of transfer of share. And lastly, the company need to provide a local registered address. All the company must have a registered office in Singapore. The company address can be registered under our office address, since there we are providing the secretary services. The registered address must be physical address and cannot be a PO box. For all the requirements above mentioned, we are able to provide the services to ease your worry. So please contact us and we will guide you step by step.